Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome in. And by the way, I hope everybody's staying safe out there. I know this is a weird time with the whole, being locked indoors and whatnot, but hopefully this, everything kind of gets back on track pretty soon. But anyway, I had some downtime today and I was on Twitter just trying to catch up on a lot of the different draft buzz, right? Rumors, reports, all that good stuff. And actually, a couple hours ago, I came across this draft rumor, right? Very, very interesting stuff. And, you guys probably already know what I'm going to be talking about. Before you've seen the video, before you saw the title of this video, you guys probably saw it on Twitter or, somewhere on the internet. Because it was, this is definitely a story that's creating a ripple effect. And a lot of Jets fans already know about this information. It's the fact that the New York, actually, I don't even want to say the fact because this is kind of smokescreen season. It could be totally fake, right? This could be a total false rumor out there to kind of get another team to show their hand. It could not even be the Jets leaking this information. So we don't really know. But anyway, the rumor basically said that the New York Jets are linked to wide receiver out of Alabama, Henry Ruggs, right? The speedster, unique wide receiver, the counterpart of Jerry Jeudy, okay? Really interesting wide receiver, okay? And quick little background on Henry Ruggs. It's funny, I was going to do a draft profile video on him today, but something came up. But anyway, Ruggs is a guy who you ask fans of football, like, hey, who's your number one wide receiver in this upcoming draft? A lot of people will tell you Jeudy from Alabama. A lot of people will say CeeDee Lamb. Not many people will say Henry Ruggs. But the cool thing is, there are going to be people that say Henry Ruggs is my number one wide receiver in this draft. And I know it's unlikely, but there are high-ranking guys. Very credible guys, people that know football really well, that say Henry Ruggs is going to be a legit NFL player. And he's not like Lamb and Jeudy, right? He's on the shorter end. And people kind of consider Lamb and Jeudy to be here and then like a little bit of a drop off, but the people that like Ruggs love him, right? They love him. He possesses a very unique skill set. Extreme speed, right? He approaches the game with a really physical mentality, which I really like. Fights for footballs, high points footballs. I think any team that drafts Henry Ruggs, whether it's the Jets or another team, I know the Denver Broncos and the 49ers have been linked to Ruggs big time. Same with the Raiders. Any team that drafts Ruggs, they're going to be getting an explosive playmaker that can take the top off defenses. And by that, I mean making safeties play on their heels a little bit and kind of taking the instinct out of the game for defensive backs. It's kind of a mental thing, and people might shake their head and say, well, that's not a catch, that's not a touchdown. That's really just a mentality thing. That's not even even a real thing. It's not a tangible thing that you can look at and point to, but it's definitely a real thing when you look at it from a psychological standpoint. Like I said, any team that drafts Ruggs, all of a sudden, when that offense plays a defense, that defensive coordinator is going to have to look out for Henry Ruggs and have to come up with ways to make sure he doesn't get behind the defense. He's a tough guy to cover 0, 1, and 2, obviously. You probably have to do a lot of cover 3 to make sure, and cover 4 to make sure Henry Ruggs is not getting behind corners and safeties. That's the fact of the matter. So that's kind of what you're getting with Henry Ruggs, a physical guy who loves the game of football, who is extremely gifted with speed, and who high points the football really well. He has great hands, not to mention. So Ruggs, as you guys can tell, I like him a lot. So when I saw this rumor that the Jets are monitoring the Henry Ruggs situation very closely, I found that fascinating, okay? And it's starting to look like wide receivers. There's going to be a run on wide receivers from pick 8 to pick 14, right? 13, with teams like the Jacksonville Jags, the New York Jets, the Oakland Raiders, or Vegas Raiders, whatever you want to call them, and the San Francisco 49ers. All of those teams right there, okay, all of those teams really need wide receiver help. Okay, they really need wide receiver help. I'd probably say Oakland is the least out of that, out of those teams, but nonetheless, they're still targeting a wide receiver. And there's 3 in this upcoming draft that are worthy of a top 15 pick, Jeudy, Lamb, and Ruggs. So now, as we start to kind of peel back the layers here, we're starting to look at the situation, and we have to start asking ourselves, okay, well, if this rumor is true, he is going to help the offense. He is going to be a great system fit. We are getting younger. We are getting more explosive. We are getting more electric on the offensive side of the football. Is 11 worth taking Henry Ruggs? Or should we try to trade back with a team that's been linked throughout the course of yesterday, throughout the course of today, a team, it's starting to look more and more like the Atlanta Falcons are trying to move up, right? And they're targeting two different guys. Cornerback out of Florida, C.J. Henderson. And by the way, and I didn't mention this a second ago, but they're specifically looking to move up to spot number 10, Cleveland Browns, and spot number 11, New York Jets. Okay, those are the two picks that the Falcons are honing in on to try to get up and to select one of these two guys. So the first guy is C.J. Henderson out of Florida, cornerback. Me personally, I think 11 and 10, too high for Henderson. Too high. I don't think he's going to go that high. I guess I shouldn't say that. I don't think he's worth taking at that spot. And I think Atlanta Falcons, they sit at spot number 16. So it's either going to be C.J. Henderson or Javon Kinlaw, the defensive tackle out of South Carolina, right? Really, really interesting prospect. Wreaked havoc at the Senior Bowl practices, just dominated, right? Very, very likable guy if you're a defensive coordinator that wants to get after quarterbacks and create havoc and, get after quarterbacks, cause that pressure up the middle, through the A, B, and C gaps. Just a guy who could just dominate. You could kind of move him around a little bit, and he's just going to go to work. Not to the caliber of, a guy. I don't think Kinlaw's as good as like an Ed Oliver was last season as a draft prospect, or even a Quinnen Williams. But this guy, he's right there. He's right there. So either pick for Atlanta, they're definitely system fits. And I definitely could see the Falcons moving up and making a move, because when I look at Atlanta's structure, when I look at the coaching staff, I think Dan Quinn needs to win right now. They have too many good players to not be winning enough games and making a push to get in the playoffs. Too many good players. So if I'm Dan Quinn and if I'm this Falcons offense, or if I'm a fan of this team, I could see the Falcons trying to make a push and getting a really impactful player that is a plug-and-play guy that could come in and start from day one and start helping the team immediately. And just, I don't want to say mortgaging the future, because, moving up to spot number 10 or 11 from 16, you're not really, it's not going to be a huge price. But as far as the New York Jets go, if the Falcons call us and say, hey, we need to go up to spot number 11 right now, because we want Henderson, we want Kinlaw, what do you want? What do you want for us to move up? Like, we're trying to get up there. I honestly would take a third-round pick and maybe a futures pick, right? Maybe a third and a fourth, and of course, spot number 16. I would definitely do that if I'm the New York Jets. So could this all be intertwined is kind of like the point I'm trying to make here. Could the Jets be trying to move back with the Atlanta Falcons? Let's just kind of have like a little scenario here. I know this video is actually longer than what I expected to make it, but quick little draft scenario. Say the New York Jets are on the clock. Cleveland takes an offensive lineman, whatever. Andrew Thomas, Tristan Wirfs, whatever. They take O-line. Jedrick Wills, Mekhi Becton, they go O-line. We're sitting there on the clock at spot number 11. Ruggs is on the board. Jerry Jeudy's on the board. CeeDee Lamb's on the board. We got Oakland behind us. We got San Francisco behind us. We got Tampa Bay behind us. Tampa Bay, it's pretty safe to say they're not going to go wide receiver. Niners could go wide out. Oakland could go wide out. Atlanta's sitting there. If we make a swap with ATL, so ATL comes up to 11, okay, fair enough. They go with Kinlaw, right? They go Kinlaw out of South Carolina, because I think that's the more reasonable draft pick there. Oakland goes Jeudy, because he's more of a system fit. San Fran, I think they want Jeudy, but I could see them going Lamb. Either the Raiders can go with both guys. I definitely think Jerry Jeudy's more of a fit for San Francisco than a CeeDee Lamb. So let's go Lamb with Oakland. Let's go Jeudy with the 49ers. Who's sitting at spot number, let's see, 12, 13, 14? I don't even know who's at 14. Point is, Bucks, is it the Bucks? Yeah, no, it's the Buccaneers and then the Denver Broncos at 15. I got to be honest, I don't see Ruggs getting past Denver. I really don't. I think Denver really needs a wide receiving help, even though they have guys like Cortland Sutton. I love him. Deshaun Hamilton, love him. They're a young team on offense. I don't think Ruggs is going to be there. If I'm the New York Jets, you got to have a backup plan. You've got to have a backup plan, because if all 4 tackles are off the board when you're picking, you can't trade back to 16 and expect to get a CeeDee Lamb, or expect to get a Henry Ruggs, or expect to get a Jerry Jeudy. Because what if all 3 of those guys are off the board? So now you're looking at the 2 biggest positions of need gone, white. Are you really going to spend the 16th overall pick on the 4th best wide receiver? Maybe a Justin Jefferson? Or maybe go edge rusher and get the number 1 edge guy in the class, Chasten out of LSU. But is that even worth 16? I personally don't think so. And of course, it all depends on what we get in return. But that's kind of my thoughts right now, like where I stand on it. But if the New York Jets walk away with Henry Ruggs, I'll be more than happy. I'll be more than pleased. I like Ruggs a lot. I think I like Ruggs more than a lot of people do. But when you watch him on tape, even if it's just like small little highlight videos, you'll start to kind of you'll gain traction, and you'll say, you know what, this guy could be a beast. And I know not many people are talking about him as the number 1 guy, but when you watch him fight for the football, when you watch him high point the football, and when you watch him beat corners off the line and just run right by him, and have pretty impressive games against teams like Auburn and LSU, you're going to start to, there might be a little bit of a change of heart. So all I'm saying is give Ruggs a chance. Let's see what this guy can do. And who knows, maybe Ruggs is going to be a future Jet. So I'll leave it there. Long, late night video. It is what it is. I apologize for that. But thanks so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And like I said, hope you're staying safe. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and go Jets.